Hi VC, it's Aaron with Alamere. Today I'm counting down my top 50 records of the mid-80s. That's 1984 to 1986. I did one from 1980 to 83 first, and then I will do one from 1987 to 89 next. And you know, this was super hard. What I did is I pulled all my records, all my hard rock and heavy metal records from that era. I went through my old videos and went through my lists and pulled them as I was going through it. Then I went through Discogs and went through my years. And then I went through Wikipedia, and they list all the albums by year to make sure I got them all. And I still miss them somehow. It's hard to get every one of them. But I ended up with about 150 records. And I was like, holy crap, this is just so much. And then, so what I did is I just went through and just, oh, this is automatic. I got through doing that. It was like 65 of them. I was like... And those are just automatic pulls I thought they'd be in no matter what. And I had to whittle that down to 50. And some amazing records didn't even make this list. It was so hard. I couldn't believe how many great records were in this era. You know, heavy metal was just booming at this time, so there's just a ton of stuff out there. And so, you know, a lot of them that didn't make this list are still some of my favorite records of that era. And I absolutely, all these that made it are absolute classics to me. I absolutely love every one of them. And this is just my personal favorite 50 records from this era. It's not a definitive list. And I would like to thank Chris Prophy for inspiring me to do this series. He did a great video with his top 10 heavy metal records, hard rock heavy metal records, and it got me going on this, so thank you, Chris. And then Pete from Pete CD and Vinyl World actually made his list of the early 80s just recently. So check out Pete's video and Chris's video. And Pete's video is really cool too. He had a bunch of stuff I didn't have that was a little bit mellower, still considered kind of hard rock. I went a little more of the metal side, but his list is great too. Check out Pete's CD Vinyl World and Chris Prophy. Their videos, they're both awesome. So I'm going to get started here, and at number 50, I've got King of the Dead from Thungle. This is my second favorite, or maybe my favorite Thungle record. I absolutely love this. It got Atom Smasher on it. That's so good. Master of the Pit, Finger of Scorn, the title song. I mean, their song Thungle. Amazing record, very unique band, and this album is a masterpiece. So killer. I love it. At number 49, I love this record. Fastway, All Fired Up, their second album, and you know, it's got the title song. It's got If You Could See, which might be coming up later too. Every song's great on here. I really love Misunderstood. I was talking about that and how it kind of reminds me of Wrathchild from Iron Maiden. Really cool song. But this is a rockin' album, killer stuff from Fastway. And number 48, an all-time classic. It's at 48. Love at First Sting from Scorpions. You know, it's got the big hits, Rock You Like a Hurricane, and Big City Nights, Bad Boys Running Wild, Still Loving You. But all the deep tracks are really good on this. The Same Thrill's great. I'm Leaving You. Oh man, I love this album. Scorpions at number 48. Number 47, Invasion of Your Privacy from Rat. One of my very favorite Rat albums. It's there's a couple Rats on this list. I love them. But this has one of the best guitar riffs of all time with Lay It Down. That opening riff is just awesome. But You're in Love is on here. I love all the deep tracks are great too. Dangerous but Worth the Risk, Between the Eyes, You Should Know By Now. It's just a great record. Love Rat. Number 46. And I love this band's early stuff. There's 3 records that I'd pulled, for instance, only this one made it, just because these years are so strong. But this is my favorite album by Bon Jovi, 7800 Fahrenheit. I love this album. It's my favorite Bon Jovi, always has been. And Only Lonely and Price of Love, those songs are so good. Of course, it has In and Out of Love on here. Tokyo Road, I absolutely love that song. Hardest Part of the Night. Every song on this is good. It's just their heaviest album, and I think it's their best, always have. At number 45, Without Love from Black and Blue. The third album from this band. No, this is their second album. Second album from Black and Blue. It's got Bombastic Plastic, which is killer. The title song is great. Stop the Lightning. Rockin' on Heaven's Door. Miss Mystery. This is just an absolutely fantastic record. Black and Blue, my favorite band from Portland, Oregon. Love them. At number 44, we got Rough Cut Wants You, their second and final record from the 80s. I think they've come back later on and done some stuff. But this album is a little heavier than their first one, but it's not quite, I don't know, I like the first one a little better. but it's just amazing. I love this band. Paul Shortino, one of the best singers of the 80s. This is just an amazing record. We Like It Loud, Rock the USA, Don't Settle for Less. Catchy, hooky, just great album. At number 44, and this is 43. Number 43, I've got AC/DC with Who Made Who. Now, I was really torn between putting this and Fly on the Wall. Fly on the Wall just about made my cut. I mean, there's so many good albums. But this album here, it just has a special place for me. The title song is one of my favorite AC/DC songs. And it's the only way you can get it is on here, along with DT. The rest of it's like a greatest hits. You know, it's got You Shook Me All Night Long, Ride On, which is really cool, Sink the Pink, Hell's Bell, Shake Your Foundations. For those about to rock, we salute you. Just a great, great soundtrack album. And speaking of soundtracks, tonight on Jeff Witcher's channel, Jeff Witcher's Final Destination, they are going to be doing a NCAA tournament of 80s soundtracks. So everyone go watch that. Unfortunately, I can't be there. I don't think Chris can be there either. But it's going to be Jeff Witcher, Josh from JC, The Flip Side, and and hopefully Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame, and Gary from Physical Format. Hopefully all those four guys are on there, and their wealth of knowledge is just amazing. It'll be a great video. Everyone check it out. Watch it tonight if you can. Of course, I'll be watching my Chargers play, but everyone check it out. I'll watch it the next day or later tonight. But it's going to be a fun one. Check them out. And this album's killer. Love AC/DC. My second favorite soundtrack from this year. From this era. Okay, at number 42, coming up again, the debut from Black and Blue. I like this just slightly better than Without Love. They're both really good, but this is just what got them started, and it's got, the School of Hard Knocks, Hold On to 18, which is kind of a big hit. Auto Blast is real heavy. I love that song. Chains Around Heaven, amazing album, amazing debut from Black and Blue. Love that. Okay, at number 41, we've got the debut from Great White. Actually, my favorite Great White album. I absolutely love this album. It's the heaviest thing they've ever done. It's more metal sounding. I like all of the Great White stuff, but this one here is just so killer. They do a cover of Substitute on here, which is really cool. It's a really cool cover version, but this is a great album all the way through. Love it. Great White. And at number 40, some people are going to kill me for this being so low, but that's where I got it. 5150 from Van Halen. The debut of Sammy Hagar of Van Halen. I love this album. Summer Nights is probably my favorite Van Halen song with Sammy Hagar, but Get Up is killer. Great stuff on here. Why Can't This Be Love? I remember when that song came out before the record. I absolutely loved it. I still do. I like all the songs on this. This is a great, kind of underrated album now, just because everyone goes to more Dave, which I do too, but this is still a phenomenal record. 5150 at number 40. At number 39, we've got the Vinnie Vincent Invasion debut, and this is nothing quite like this record. It's just a shredding guitar record with great vocals from Robert Fleshman. It's got Dana Strum on the bass, who later went with Mark Slaughter after he joined and formed the band Slaughter. Bobby Rock is a great drummer. But I love the songs on here. I really like Back on the Streets with Vinnie Vincent and Robert Fleshman singing. That's really cool. Baby O was always my favorite. And I love Invasion with that weird, the lock groove at the end. There was times I played that for like a half an hour before I was like, what the hell's going on? Why isn't this ending? It's a lock groove on it, but it's pretty cool. So there we go. Vinnie Vincent Invasion at number 39. Number 38, The Warning from Queensryche. Their first full-length record. They had their EP first, but this is just an awesome album. Take Hold of the Flame is so good. Every song on here is good. It starts out with Warning, and oh man, it's just Queensryche. They're probably their heaviest record. It's just awesome. Number 38, 37. This is 37. We got Metal Heart from Accept. Accept had a string of 3 albums in a row. They're absolute masterpieces, starting with Restless and Wild, Balls to the Wall, and then this. And the ones before and after are all really good, but those 3 are just as good as Accept ever got, as far as I think. And, Screaming for a Love Bite, I love that song. Midnight Mover, heavy album, great vocals from Udo, killer stuff there. Number 36, my favorite album from this band, and they had an album that just barely missed the cut on the last one, and they're so good. Power of the Night from Sabotage. I love this record. It's so good all the way through. The title song, Hard for Love, is one of my favorites. Fountain of Youth, Warriors, great stuff from Sabotage, the Florida metal band. Love it. Number 35. We've got my favorite album from this band. I'll be saying that a lot because a lot of these are my favorites from these bands. And this is Midnight Dynamite from Kix. And I just love this album. Scarlet Fever is my favorite Kix song. Love that one, but all of them are good. Lay in Rubber, Cold Shower, Like a Rug, Midnight Dynamite. It's just a great, great, fun album. Love that. At number 34, my favorite album by this band. Here we go again. It's just crazy how these bands are pumping out these albums. This is Fight to Survive from White Lion, their debut. And it's the first time we got to hear Vito Bratta, one of the best guitarists of the 80s. Absolutely amazing guitarist. It's got Broken Heart on here. All Burning Hell's a great song. El Salvador is amazing. It's just this is more heavy metal than their sound was later on, but it's still got some of that sound in it. Really killer album here. White Lion, Fight to Survive. Okay, at number, where am I at? 33. All-time classic here. Tooth and Nail from Dokken. George Lynch's guitar work is exceptional, and this album has great big hits like Alone Again, and the title song, Just Got Lucky. Amazing album. I love this. Dokken. One of my favorite bands. Love Dokken. Okay, at number 32, and this is a really great live album. The only problem I have with it is I wish it would have been a double record, but this is Alive and Screamin' from Crocus. And I was torn between putting Change of Address or this, but I went with this. A Change of Address would have made it if I wouldn't win another 10 records, so I love that album. But this they sound almost better on this than on their studio albums. It starts with Long Stick Goes Boom, which is killer. Eat the Rich, Screaming in the Night, amazing version of that, great song. Hot Shot City's on here, Stayed Awake All Night, Midnight Maniac, By the Side Radio, Headhunter, just a great live album. They should have made a double album of that. It would have been higher even. And okay, and number 31, phenomenal album, Eat 'Em and Smile from David Lee Roth. Wow, what a good record. Steve Vai on guitar, Billy Sheehan on the bass, Greg Bissonette on the drums, amazing players. Yankee Rose, Ladies Night in Buffalo, I love that one. Going Crazy, Big Trouble, Tobacco Road, every song good. This is one of my two favorite David Lee Roth albums, and it's probably his heaviest one he ever did. Really good album. Okay, at number 30, another Rat album, Out of the Cellar. And this is, everyone's it's their debut full-length record, and it's got a couple of them from the EP, but they redid them a little. Of course, it has Round and Round, but the strong points of this, even that's a great song, but I love Lack of Communication, and The Morning After, Scene of the Crime, Back for More is killer. Oh, man. Wanted Man, what a great album from Rat, Out of the Cellar. At number 29, we got 1984 from Van Halen. And all the singles are really good from this. You got Jump, and I'll Wait, and Panama, and Hot for Teacher. All four of those are awesome songs. But the deep tracks on this, like Top Jimmy and Drop Dead Legs, stuff like that, is just where this album's at for me. I love the deep tracks on this, and it's a great record. I still love listening to it. Never gets old. I even like the keyboards they put in it. I don't think that was a bad thing. It's just a different thing for Van Halen, and I love that album. Number 28, Mechanical Resonance from Tesla. The debut from this great band. And I remember when this first came out, it's like everyone was like, this is really kind of different, because it was all going into the glam stuff, and this had kind of a more blues edge to it, and I love that. Easy Come, Easy Go, Coming At You Live, of course. I love Getting Better. Of course, it's got Little Susie, Modern Day Cowboy on here. And the song that really has aged the best on here, that it gets better every time I hear it, is Before My Eyes. Josh from Flipside pointed that out to me, so I started really paying attention to it, and now it's almost my favorite song on here, because it's just got this haunting quality. It's just really good. I love it. So awesome album there. And number 27, this is my favorite soundtrack of all time. I've said it over and over. Trick or Treat from Fastway. And it's all Fastway all the time. It's got only 2 songs that were previously released, which is Heft, which is from the first album, but it's a shorter version, a little different. And I actually like it a little better, even though it's shorter. but it's killer version, and if you could see from All Fired Up. But all the rest of these songs are new to this record. The title song, Trick or Treat's awesome. After Midnight's one of the best singles of the 80s. I absolutely love that song. Tear Down the Walls, Get Tough, Hold On to the Night. Every song's good on it. My favorite Fastway album, and it's the soundtrack. Okay, at number 26, we've got The Awesome Kiss with Animal Eyes. I love this record. A lot of people think it's weak, but I don't. I love it. I've had enough Into the Fire, how it starts off just so heavy. I love that song. Then the big hit, Heaven's on Fire. I love Burn Bitch Burn. That song's so cool. Get All You Can Take, one of their heaviest songs. It's got this plodding groove I just love. Lonely as a Hunter is a great Gene Simmons song. Under the Gun, heavy and fast. Thrills in the Night was their other single, really killer. And then While the City Sleeps and Murder in High Hills. Awesome album. Love Animal Eyes. Okay, at number 25, we've got the debut from Anthrax, Fistful of Metal. Awesome album, and the debut of one of my favorite bands. Has Neil Turbin on the vocals. Only album he did, and Dan Littleker on the bass. It's his only album with them. And it's got some of their all-time classics like Metal Thrashing Mad and their title song and Howling Furies and Soldiers of Metal. I'm 18 is good, but it's the weakest on here. Death Rider is just killer. What a great thrash album. I love this album, Fistful of Metal. Okay, at number 24, and this is my favorite album by this artist, and it's only 24 on here, and I absolutely love it. The Ultimate Sin from Ozzy. I know most people like the first two albums, or some of his later is better. This has always been my favorite for some reason. The title song, The Ultimate Sin, it's just got that such a heavy sound to it. I love it. And you got Lightning Strikes and Never Know Why. Secret Loser is great. Of course, Shot in the Dark was the big hit. Thank God for the Bomb was great. I absolutely love this album, and it's at my number 24. Number 23. My favorite album from this band, and I've already had two on here. Black and Blue with Nasty Nasty. This was their third album, and it's a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. The title song, Nasty Nasty, later was reworked by Kiss, and they kind of used the riffs from that to make Domino. And but Nasty Nasty, I've always, whenever I hear Domino, I instantly think of Nasty Nasty. But, Do What You Want to Do is great. Rules, Best in the West, has Peter Criss doing some vocals on it, and Ron Keel. It's really cool. Awesome album from Black and Blue at number 23. Okay, at number 22, we've got the awesome Slayer with Rain in Blood. This is such a great album. Angel of Death and Raining Blood, those bookend songs are just as good as it gets in thrash metal. And it's just an awesome album all the way through. Love this album. Number 23. Nope, 22, Rain in Blood. Hard to believe that didn't make the top 20. But I got my favorite album from this band next. Dancing Undercover from Rat. I love this album. It just has such a great flow. A little bit more of a flowing record than their other ones. Starting off with Dance and One Good Lover and Drive Me Crazy, Slip of the Lip, Body Talk. Those are like radio staples, still are. But the second side is amazing with Looking for Love, 7th Avenue, ending with Enough is Enough, Take a Chance. It's just an amazing record. I love this album, my favorite Rat album. Okay, where are we? Okay, into the top 20 now. And another that's my favorite by a band. This is Rage for Order from Queensryche. And my favorite Queensryche song is the first song on this, Walk in the Shadows. Love that song. It just has such energy to it. And then you got the Whisper on here, Gonna Get Close to You. That cover song is so good. Totally different than the original, both really good. I Dream in Infrared, every song. I'm Screaming in Digital. What a phenomenal record from Queensryche. Now we're at number 19. I'll stop saying it, because most of these are all my favorites, unless there's another one. So we got Slide It In from Whitesnake. What a great, grooving, heavy, bluesy, rockin' album this is. I just love it. Slide It In, Slow and Easy, Loving and Stranger. Those three songs that started off are just so good. But you got, Hungry for More, Hungry for Love, Spit It Out, Standing in the Shadows. Amazing, amazing record from Whitesnake. Probably my favorite thing David Coverdale ever did right there. I love that album. Okay, at number 18, one of my all-time favorite bands with their debut, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good from Megadeth. And this album just blows me away. The production was really bad at the beginning, but I kind of like that. This is the remix, and it's really good. Last Rites Love to Death is great. Skull Beneath the Skin, you got Mechanics on here, which was the original version of Four Horsemen from Metallica. These Boots, the cover, is way different from Nancy Sinatra, but this is a great, great album. Love it. Love Megadeth. Number 17, Under Lock and Key from Dokken. Love this album. It's got the big hits, in My Dreams, and It's Not Love. It's Not Love, one of my favorite guitar riffs ever. I love that riff. Unchain the Night. My favorite song on here is The Hunter. Love The Hunter. But, every song's good. The ballad, Jaded Heart, and Slipping Away, those two are really good too. But great album. Love George Lynch, one of my favorite guitarists. Top 5 guitarists for me of anybody. Okay, and at number 16. Not my favorite by this artist, but one of them. This is Constrictor from Alice Cooper, and he came out with a bang with this album. It's got Kane Roberts on the guitar and Kip Winger on the bass, which a lot of people don't even realize. But just amazing, catchy songs. Teenage Frankenstein, Give It Up, Thrill My Gorilla, I love that one. Life and Death of the Parties, awesome. Simple Disobedience, Trick Bag. He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask, which was from Friday the 13th, one of them. One of the Friday the 13th, but it's really killer. I absolutely love this album. One of my top 2 Alice Cooper albums. I love that. Number 15, Cinderella with Night Songs. And this song is their heaviest, this is their heaviest album they did, starting with the title song, which just starts the album off with a bang, really heavy, right into Shake Me and Nobody's Fool. Then you got Nothing for Nothing, Once Around the Ride. Great album. These guys, they weren't quite in their bluesy phase, or more metal phase on this one. And, Somebody Save Me's on here, Back Home Again. What a great album from Cinderella. Love that. Number 13. Well, this is number 14. We got Defenders of the Faith from Judas Priest. This is actually my favorite 80s Judas Priest record. I love this album. Free Will Burnin' and Jawbreaker, what a great way to start. And Ride Hard, Rock Hard, Ride Free. The Sentinels, one of my favorite songs. I love that. Love Bites, it's so catchy, it sticks in your head. Love that. Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. Heavy Duty, the title song. What a great album from Judas Priest. Love it. Number 13, we've got the iconic Stay Hungry from Twisted Sister. And this album broke them to become really famous and big. They had those videos for I Wanna Rock and We're Not Gonna Take It, which were all over the place. Great songs. My favorite song on here has always been Burnin' Hell. Love that one. And Horror Terry at the beginning with Captain Howdy and Street Justice right behind it. Love those songs. Then you got The Price and the Don't Let Me Down, SMF. What a great album. Just solid. Number 12. Oh, wow, this is a good one. Somewhere in Time from Iron Maiden. And, wow, I remember I bought this on cassette the day it came out. Wasted Years. My favorite song on here is actually Stranger in a Strange Land. I love that song, but I love every song on this. Deja Vu. A little repetitive at times with the chorus, but it's a great song. Heaven Can Wait, the same. The rest of it is just flawless. Caught Somewhere in Time. Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. Great album. Amazing. One of Iron Maiden's very best. And number 11. One of my all-time favorite albums, and it's on number 11. Inside the Electric Circus from Wasp. And this album means so much to me. I was really getting into heavy metal when this was out. And it just, me and my friends couldn't stop playing it, starting with the Big Welcome into the Inside the Electric Circus, which is a great song. Got 2 covers on here, which I think are better than the originals, and they're awesome. I Don't Need No Doctor and Easy Livin', the Uriah Heep song, is killer on here. But my favorite ones on here are, Restless Gypsy, I'm Alive. I love I'm Alive. Sweet Cheetah is so killer. The Rock Rolls, every song on this is great. 95 Nasty was my favorite when I was younger. Just love this album. Shoot From the Hip. Amazing. One of Wasp's very best. Love that album so much. Now I'm at the top 10. So at number 10, we've got Asylum from Kiss. Very underrated record. And people just blow this off a lot of times because the singles Tears Are Falling and Who Wants to Be Lonely, I love those songs. But the rest of this album is really heavy, starting with King of the Mountain, a thunderous drumming to start this record on King of the Mountain, then right into Any Way You Slice It, another really heavy song. Trial by Fire and Secretly Cruel, those two Gene Simmons songs are two of my favorite Gene Simmons songs from the 80s. They're amazing. Got All Night on here to finish it out. Radar for Love. Love's a Deadly Weapon. I'm Alive. What a great album. Love Asylum. Number 9, my second favorite live album of all time. The only one I like better is Kiss Alive. Live After Death from Iron Maiden. It's on the Power Slave tour, and it encompasses their whole career up to them. It starts out with Aces High, ends with Phantom of the Opera, but everything on here is almost better sounding than their studio album. It's just amazing. Number of the Beast, Power Slave, Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of this record. It is one of the most phenomenal live records ever. Number 8, and this is going to be the surprise in my top 10. But I love this record. I think it's the most underrated album of the 80s, and it's so good. This is Rough Cut. I absolutely love this record. Paul Shortino, they were on earlier, but this album here is a masterpiece. It was, it's just amazing. It starts with Taker, has a really cool version of Piece of My Heart, actually my favorite version of that ever. I love his singing on it, but Never Gonna Die, Dreaming Again, Cut Your Heart Out. Then you got Black Widow, which is so killer to open up the first side. You Keep Breaking My Heart. Oh, man. I just love this album so much. Number 8. Number 7. Just talking about this band. Got Power Slave from Iron Maiden. And one of the flawless Maiden albums from the 80s. Everyone they did in the 80s, absolute masterpiece. This, I love every song on it. Flash of the Blade, The Duelist. I was talking about the other one. Starts with Aces High. Ends with Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Everything in between. Amazing. One of the best albums of Iron Maiden's career, which is saying something because all their 80s albums and their 70s and beyond, they're all good, but their 80s especially, just one phenomenal album after another. Okay, at number 6. A lot of people that have this at number 1, I got it at number 6. Doesn't mean I don't absolutely love it because I love this album and I love every song on this list, actually. This is Master of Puppets from Metallica. What a breakthrough album. It brought them to the mainstream. Of course, got the great title song, Battery, just a battering ram of a song. Disposable Heroes is so killer. I love that one. Damage Incorporated, of course. Welcome Home Sanitarium is really cool. The killer instrumental Orion, amazing stuff. But my two favorite songs on here have always been The Thing That Should Not Be and Leper Messiah. Love those songs, and I love this album at number 6. Number 5, The Last in Line from Dio. His first 2 albums, flawless from beginning to end, absolute masterpieces, starting with We Rock. He's got The Last in Line, Breathless, I Speed at Night, One Night in the City. But side 2, I like better, except for the song Mystery is the weakest on the album, even though I like it a lot. But you got Eat Your Heart Out and Egypt, The Chains Are On, my 2 favorite songs on here. Love this album so much. Ronnie James Dio, maybe my favorite singer ever. He's so good. Love it. Number 4. This album, Spreading the Disease from Anthrax. And this is right up there with my favorite Anthrax album. There's one other one I think I might like just a little bit better, but it's really close. It starts with AIR. This is the introduction of Joey Belladonna on the vocals, which he brought another aspect to the thrash music because he was singing more of like a classic rock style like Kansas or Journey type singer, and brought that to thrash music, and it just made them really unique. And with the unique lyrics they have, of course, Madhouse is the hit from here. That's really killer. Every song's great. Lone Justice, Aftershock, Armed and Dangerous, Gung Ho is just a thrash masterpiece. And my favorite song, Medusa. Love this album. Number 3, barely edging out Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning. Both masterpieces. This is an amazing record. At times, it's my favorite Metallica. It goes between that and Kill 'Em All. I just go back and forth with those two. But the intro to Fight Fire with Fire, there was nothing quite like it when it came out, starting off with and it just getting so heavy. You got For Whom the Bell Tolls and Fade to Black on here, of course, Creeping Death. The unsung heroes of this record, though, are Trapped Under Ice and Escape. Love those songs. And then The Great Call of Cthulhu. I love the instrumentals. So that leaves my top 2 albums of the mid-'80s. And at number 2, we've got the debut from Wasp. I consider this one of the ultimate heavy metal albums of all time. Absolutely love it. It's got The Flame, Love Machine, School Days, you know, I Want to Be Somebody, Tormentor, The Torture Never Stops, Sleeping in the Fire, and Hellion. Wow, what a great album. Masterpiece of a record. And at number 1, and this is my favorite thrash album of all time, one of my favorite albums of all time. If I did this for a whole list of every record, this would be in the top 5 probably still. Peace Sells, But Who's Buying from Megadeth. Love this record. Wake Up Dead, the title song. You know, everyone knows this album. Well, not everyone, but it's so good. Good Morning Black Friday is so killer. My Last Words, I Even Love, I Ain't Superstitious, the heavy version of that. Killer album. So Megadeth at number 1. And this has been real fun. And everyone go check out Jeff Witcher's channel tonight. It's going to be a good one. And I will see you next time for the late 80s. Thank you.